Welcome back to episode 101 of the Blockrunner podcast. I'm your host, William, always here with your co-host, I-Man.
It's happening, Will.
What's going on, dude?
Big day. Big days ahead, dude. It's crazy.
So we gather here to talk about a lot of things, one with the country, other things with the crypto country.
And then they're all intertwined one way or another, you know?
All right, so let me share the screen so we can start looking at some of the content that we got pulled up here. And so the first thing is, well, what do you want to do? You want to like set the stage for what's going on with the country, or do you want to like?
How can we? I guess like we talked about it last week. I remember I was talking about how Charles Hoskinson was talking about how big this Georgia runoff election was going to be.
Yeah.
You know, because it had a lot of implications.
So first of all, Georgia runoff. Like, what is going on? I haven't been paying attention. I've stopped paying attention since Andrew Yang got kicked out. So
all it is it was like a Senate race to determine who's going to control the Senate, basically.
Okay.
So Democrats, obviously, they won the presidential election, so
Yeah.
that's pretty big. But the problem is, presidents usually don't have too much power unless like Congress is on their side, you know, the House and the Senate.
Right.
And in this case, the House is Democrat majority, so we have a Democrat House. Now we have a Democratic Senate, and we got a Democratic president coming up. So now they have free reign to do whatever the fuck they want, basically. So this upsets a lot of people on the other side of the political spectrum, obviously. And they think like all of this happened. Like, dude, like how the fuck did this happen? Like they think it's all fraud, right? At least that's what Trump is going out. He's saying this daily, right? Like everything was you know, a hoax, you know, and he tried to prove it in the courts. The courts all denied him. So now, you know, people are rising up, dude. It's starting to escalate into some actual. At first, I was kind of like mocking these guys, like, dude, look at these boomers protest, dude. They don't know what they're doing. Like, I don't see any fires. You know, there's not a single Wendy's on fire right now. Like, this is weak. But now I'm seeing them actually storm the Capitol. This is like historical level, like you know, uprising.
Activity.
Yeah,
uprising.
This is like shit you would read in the history books of like Roman society, like raiding the Roman capital, you know, like some shit like that.
So let me play one of the videos here that you sent me specifically. It's this one right here.
Yeah, like you know, all day long they've been just like outside the Capitol. I guess since yesterday, waiting for the election results. Now the results are in. Like we're definitely getting rowdier.
Yeah. So so what you're listening to is a bunch of like civilians just storming the Capitol and just like entering.
Yeah.
And so you and I were just talking about like, what is this gonna do?
Well, I guess what they're actually actively trying to do is to like halt the actual like election of these new senators and stuff like that. They're trying to stop the process, you know?
Yeah.
Like this is like actual revolution. Like this isn't good. It just depends on how well like the police can contain this, you know. And dude, so I'm seeing some hilarious thing. Like there's a lot of traction building on this. Even my own parents like are wanting to get involved in this action. So
yeah,
I don't think they will. I think they're not that kind of people to travel like across the country just to get in on this. But I think there's going to be like a huge wave of people slowly trickle in, and like I think over the next few days you're just going to see this grow. Unfortunately. So what does this mean for crypto? Probably only good things. I mean, this only looks more and more bullish for Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
I would think.
It's like, oh, it's a fire extinguishers going off by somebody. So it says Trump protesters just discharged a fire extinguisher outside of the Senate chamber.
Jesus, dude. So already, dude, this is already bringing me flashbacks to like last year, like when we were watching that COVID shit go down.
Yeah.
Like, already 2021's off to a ridiculous start, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it was going so well, dude. Crypto was running so beautifully.
Yeah.
Like, and then all of a sudden this shit has to happen, dude. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, so you're saying that this is the this is the calm before the storm. When we were looking at China, like fumigate the entire city,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah, we don't know what this can snowball into.
yeah.
I mean, the people are obviously upset. Like,
Well, some people. I mean, this is like
well,
hardly the
half
majority.
the people, dude. Like, that's the thing
Well,
about
I
politics.
guess you're right. It is
Yeah,
half.
it's literally split in half. The election was so close; it was 50-50, literally.
Yeah.
Like, it was decided by like less than 1,000 votes. I think it was that close.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, politics has gotten so divisive in this country. Like, you're always gonna have half the country just ready to burn this shit down, which is like, holy shit, they're actually breaking the windows of the Capitol.
Yeah.
Dude, this is madness.
Dude, they stole a riot gear, a shield.
Oh yeah, keep that in mind. This is the side of the political spectrum that is pro Second Amendment. So most of these guys are wielding like assault rifles, I bet.
Yeah.
You know? These guys are no joke.
See,
Yeah.
I'm trying to put myself in the minds of these people. It's like, okay, let's
well,
go in there and let's accomplish something. And the other dude's like, well, what do you want to accomplish? It's like, I don't know. We'll figure it out once we get in there.
Yeah, what would you do, dude? Like, go like kidnap politicians and like put a gun up to their head and be like, listen, oligarchs, like this is it. We've listened to your bullshit for too long. It's like we need revolution now, or else we're gonna execute all of your politicians. Like, is that what you would do?
I mean that it makes sense if that's the plan, because that's where they are and that's where the people are going. So
that's what's crazy though. Like, it could actually snowball into something like that. You know, there's been plenty of like psychological.
it could, but dude, come on, man, that's not gonna work. I don't think.
I don't know.
I mean, dude, the military is stacked, and these are civilians. It doesn't matter if you are holding an AR-15 or not. You're gonna lose.
Yeah, I hope but again, like there's been historical events in the past where like things like this have happened, and military had to respond and intervene, and that's usually what kickstarts like warish like periods of time. You know, whenever like the military has no choice but to take lethal force against their own people, which is rough.
This is breaking. U.S. House chamber being evacuated by Reuters.
Yeah, they better get the fuck out of there.
Oh, damn. Dude,
look at this.
They're climbing the
walls.
walls.
World shit, dude.
Holy shit.
Dude, they're going like straight zombie mode, dude. Dude, this is crazy. Dude, this is the end of capitalism, boys and girls.
Wow.
Maybe not. At least the end of American exceptionalism, dude. Our country has some like serious...
Dude, it's so much easier to protest just by moving your funds into Bitcoin. Yeah. That's like the most efficient thing you could do.
Yeah.
But that's crazy, man. We're looking at people climb a wall. I don't know what wall this is. That's
not a wall either, dude. Like that's a big drop if they fuck up.
Yeah, for sure.
Like that's like life-changing injury if you slip your grip right here climbing this wall.
Yeah.
That's not good. But that's how crazy these people are getting. And that's what I'm saying, dude. This is just the start, man. People are really pissed. Because put yourself in their mind, dude. All these people truly think these elections were a fraud. They think like this government is 100% corrupt, which they're probably not wrong. You know, I'm not necessarily sure about the validity of those claims, but
yeah.
I mean, they're right in the sense that, dude, the government's been running and operating, you know, against the will of the people for so long.
Oh, for sure.
It's taken, I don't know, getting up to this point for people to finally snap, I guess.
It'd be different if you had both Democrats and Republicans like storming the...
True.
It would be different, but
you're right.
I think this is like tantrums, in my opinion.
No, you're probably right. Hopefully this doesn't escalate beyond this point, but all you can do is speculate.
Dude, this is live. This is a live stream that we're looking at right now, and there's a lot more people than just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, I'm telling you, dude, they're trickling in because this is being broadcasted all over Fox News, and people are getting pissed.
Yeah, for sure.
Parents included, dude. Like, because Fox News is telling people all day long, every day, like that. You know.
So hold on. Explain to me how this is like manipulation, because we had a Republican president, and you had and all of a sudden all the seats had turned into Democratic. So how does a Republican-run presidency like just all of a sudden switch and all of a sudden become some form of fraud?
Well, I don't. Obviously, no one's ever gonna know the truth, but their contention is that like there was just voter fraud. You know, like actual suppression of the true like vote count and stuff like that.
Yeah, but
Whether or not it's true or not doesn't matter. The point is like that
that's
seed
what
is
they
being
believe.
implanted in the mind of a lot of people. You know what I mean?
See, but how can the Democratic Party commit voter fraud without some obvious evidence?
I don't know. Apparently, they have the evidence, but they presented it to the courts, and the courts rejected that evidence.
Well, I guess.
So in a civil society, that should be enough. Like that should be the end of it, right? If we're reliant on our government infrastructure,
Yeah.
that's it. Like the judicial branch did their job, and they voted. They're saying no. There's not enough evidence to support these big systemic claims of like systemic voter fraud. You know, so that's it. We should be like, okay, but that's not what's happening. Trump, with the power he has of his voice, he's galvanized the whole sector of the people to like just completely lose faith in that system. Right now, everybody is like, you know, everybody's awake in that sense. Like the government,
Yeah.
isn't honest.
Yeah,
like
everyone else besides the Trumponians are sleeping. Damn,
Yeah,
there they are in the
dude,
chamber,
they're actually in there,
just hanging out.
Dude, but this is so crazy, dude. I was mocking like them earlier, like yesterday. I was making fun of these people, like, dude, these guys are weak. Like as far as like protests, but this is like an actual
Takeover.
Yeah, this is like some shit. I'm telling you, you're gonna see this in history books. This is unreal.
So, so they're in the chamber. What are they hoping to accomplish here? Is there going to be a subsequent vote that they're preventing from happening? I mean, what's the?
I mean, nobody knows, man. This has never happened before. Never in the history of this country. Yeah. I mean, this is like hundreds of years of government operating without this kind of like dissidence, like citizen dissidence or whatever you want to call it. Like
yeah. Unrest.
Unrest, yeah. This is shit you see like in countries like fucking Uganda or something like that, dude. Like,
yeah,
you know, like a government building gets raided, you know, by like some terrorist organization. Like, you don't see this shit in like the developed world, and you're starting to see it. Like, this is not good, man. This is not good at all.
So then, what does that tell you? Those like what do you do in this situation? Like,
I mean, for me, I just keep buying more chickens. I buy more Bitcoin, dude, and I try to get as far away as I can from civilized society. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is not good. This doesn't go away. You know what I mean? These sentiments,
yeah, that's true. I mean,
people are pissed, and they're gonna remain pissed until something changes. You know, even Occupy Wall Street didn't escalate to this level, dude. Like it was just a bunch of hippie drum circles in the middle of Manhattan. Big fucking deal, dude. Wall Street only got richer and more powerful since.
Yeah,
like they literally did nothing. You know, the best thing that came out of that movement was probably Satoshi's white paper. You know what I mean? That was it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he was probably there. He was like, "Fuck this."
Yeah,
I'm gonna go write this paper again.
Yeah, he's like, dude, this is fucking useless, dude. Like, let's go actually do something. And then he launched Bitcoin. You know.
Yeah.
So what's going to come out of this? Hopefully, maybe a whole new government, you know, maybe not hopefully, because that usually means like bad things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That means like actual revolution. God damn, dude. This is actually absurd.
Yeah.
I don't know how we could talk about crypto after this, dude. This is like, too pivotal, you know?
Yeah, man. There's a ton of people there.
Yeah, dude, I never thought I would see this in my lifetime. Like, holy shit. What if they just set the fucking thing on fire?
Dang.
Could you imagine that?
Dang.
Holy, dude, that's the building from Independence Day, isn't it? Oh, no, that was the White House.
Yeah, was it
Remember
the White
that
House?
fucking movie? Remember the alien, like, shot down that beam? Like,
No, it was a Capitol building.
oh, it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Dude, that's it. What if it just explodes? Like in Independence Day. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, protests have changed a lot of things throughout history. It's just there has to be like a clear message to the protests. Like it's not exactly clear as to what's
Well, the
what's
message is,
desired?
I mean, what's desired?
Yeah, well, I mean, do they want to count the votes individually themselves, like to prove to themselves that there was not voter fraud, and potentially do discover a fraud in the votes? I mean, what's the proposal here?
Yeah, there's usually never that kind of rationalization whenever things like this are going down, you know? Just like the whole Black Lives Matter thing, right? Like, what was the proposal there? There was none. It was just like
That's true. That's a
to
good
fund
point.
the police and what else? I don't know. Just the claim was like systemic racism. But what do you want? What does that mean? What do you want to happen? Does that mean like just kill all white people? Like what is
Well,
the
I
response?
think when it comes to the Black Lives Matter, I think it was Trevor Noah who said it best, is that the protests weren't really necessarily for like a proposal of anything. It's more of like an indication that we've all signed a social contract, and
Mm-hmm.
that social contract is not being upheld within the black community. And
Okay.
so they're just illustrating their acknowledgement is like, okay, if there is no social contract, then I'm just going to burn everything.
Mm.
And I think
That
that was the only message.
yeah. I mean, obviously that's not a rational response either. Just like this isn't,
Yeah,
but
yeah, for sure.
it's the same frame of mind. Like meaning, it just basically means like we're not content with the way things are, so we're just gonna burn everything.
Yeah,
You know, that's basically the same sentiment these people are feeling, just a
yeah, just a different, yeah,
different cause. You
yeah.
know, it's just it's just more signs of the time, man. Like we're leading into like a whole new period of our history. Like we've had 10 years of nonstop economic prosperity, which
And
is
look at what it led to, like
yeah, well,
unrest.
it's being completely funded by like artificial
Yeah,
stimulus and stuff like that, like not real genuine economic growth,
that's
right?
right. That's right.
And like at some point that's all going to come tumbling down. There's already huge negative sentiment building in this country, like just from politics in general. Like yeah, man, red pill finance said it best, dude. Like we're fall of Rome 2.0, dude. That's what this looks like. You know, that's what it feels like, man. It's unfortunate, but
Well, I think that's a good segue. Fall of Rome 2.0, talking about the favorite Unimex. So what was the attraction to Unimex to you to begin with, Iman?
uh okay, I gotta realign my fucking thinking into like crypto now, dude. It's
Yeah.
so hard after all that. I just want to like sit back and that's probably what I'm gonna do for the rest of the day, just like watch the wildness happen.
Yeah.
But in regards to this, yeah, this has we had plans of talking about this project because
Yeah, we were doing like our behind the scenes research on it for sure for a couple of weeks.
yeah, just because it to me it posed like a good opportunity as like a small like a micro. I call this like a micro cap. This thing's under 10 million. It's like such a small unknown project,
Yeah.
but it's addressing a market that has so much opportunity, which is margin trading, leverage trading. You know, decentralized form of that. I mean, it already exists in this market with things like Binance and BitMEX and all those other centralized exchanges.
Yeah.
But we're already starting to see like a migration of volume coming away from those centralized platforms and coming into the decentralized ecosystem. You know, with Uniswap and soon more Dexes. You know, Loop
Okay.
Ring is popping off like crazy. So I mean, it only makes sense. Like the next sector to decentralize and also experience this volume siphoning is the margin trading sector. So
So
Unimex,
Unimex was doing margin trading, and
yeah, they're
so
building the platform for that. You know,
and it was an anonymous project,
yeah,
and
it had a lot of the red flags that we've talked about in the past. You know, like things you should never put your money in,
yeah,
anonymous.
that's right.
But in this case, I was rationalizing it for some reason, thinking like because this is such a heavily regulated territory, the margin trading sector. You know, that's the whole reason why BitMEX got shut down. You know, it's so much like unregistered activity going on there. The SEC was not happy with, so eventually they had to close it and like shut it down. You know,
Right.
put a stop to it. So I was thinking that's why these people will have to remain anonymous. You know,
Yeah.
but apparently that's not the case because there's other platforms that are actually trying to do things the right way. It's
Yeah,
like how
so
you like to say it, right?
so with Unimex, we saw a rug pull, and apparently one of the team members went rogue and tried to extort $1 million worth of crypto from the team, and so this was a purposeful rug pull with intent to try to salvage the project, according to one of the founders.
Yeah, this is unproven yet. Only thing we've seen so far is the snapshot was taken, because part of like the messaging from the developer team is like, before this giant red candle you see here, they took the snapshot of all the token holders, and then they themselves basically dumped all the tokens on the market into, like you say, salvage some of that liquidity
Right.
for the relaunch. You know, so we're not going to know for sure, like a couple days from now, whenever the new tokens are airdropped into everybody's account and the liquidity pools are refunded. You know,
Yeah.
basically it's like this never really happened. Obviously, the price isn't going to reflect that. I'm sure once people get their tokens, they're going to dump like heavily.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen situations or similar situations occur with like legitimate projects, like with Ethereum, with the DAO hack, and they were obviously recovered. And we have Ethereum and then Ethereum Classic, but this has a different feel to it, just because the team is anonymous, so you can't really trust what they're doing. And their apology letter, I mean, as genuine as they're trying to make it seem, I mean, you just can't take it seriously. So I expect that once the tokens are returned to their holders, they're just going to dump it, and this project is a thing of the past. Like, it's not a, and I'm sure it could 10x still, because people are risky.
Market.
Yeah, because of the crypto market. But this is a good example to adjust the strategy. And that if you look at a microcap cryptocurrency, and you need to do your due diligence and look at their competitors. If this is a decentralized margin trading platform, well, look at the other ones. For example, we got DyDx.
Mm-hmm.
So this one has been around, and if you go and start trading, it'll tell you automatically, hey, you're in the United States, you can't use this tool. And so they're a decentralized exchange, and they are following regulatory protocol.
Yeah, they're upholding like their integrity, I guess, with the regulatory bodies, at least, just to avoid any future problems.
Yeah, and I'll show you what I mean.
That gives this platform more, I guess, like long-term sustainability to it. You don't have to be so worried.
Yeah, and so it says, I clicked on perpetuals, and then it says, due to regulations, perpetual contracts are not available in the United States. Mm. So that tells you all you need to know, that this is a project that's trying to do things right.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do,
that's good.
The last thing is, if you do any research on DyDx, you'll learn a bunch of YouTubers and a bunch of articles talking about how this could be the potential next big airdrop for people. So they're recommending everybody to go and interact with the protocol in any way that you can, depending on which country you're in. So that would be a good sort of exercise for everyone to do, just to interact and do something like a small sale, just to be on the list.
Yeah, DyDx has been around, I think, as long as Uniswap has been around. So it's safe to assume, like, these protocol layers, that they develop and polish their protocol before launching a token. Like, I'm pretty sure like they're gonna follow the same path. So yeah, if you're in the US like us, all we could really do is like register these accounts, just like you did with Uniswap, right? Like, they allocated their airdrop just to account holders. Actually,
no,
you had to execute at least one trade, I think.
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
So, I mean, Will is saying there's other ways we could still interact with this platform. So hopefully that's enough.
Yeah, I mean, you could do a margin trade. Just put in 10 DAI, do a 10x margin trade. So you're messing around with 100 DAI in a token for ETH, and then that's all you need to do.
Yeah, so just do that as much as you can. Just assume this project is gonna follow Uniswap's cycle, you know, and not just this protocol. There's plenty others like
There's several others out there that haven't dropped a token that potentially might. So we can do a little bit more research into DyDx by combing through their GitHub, and there might be indicators in there already about a token drop. So we still need to do that research. There's tons of things to do, but the point of this conversation is to show that Unimex, an anonymous project, that did what they call Rugpull, but potentially like trying to save the project, which is equal to a Rugpull, to a legitimate project like DyDx, who is following regulatory framework for their project. So, and I mean, we need to look up to see who's running DyDx, but I would imagine they're not anonymous.
Yeah, don't take our word for it yet. But yeah. At this point, it doesn't even matter too much because there isn't a token. But yeah, definitely do that due diligence before. I mean, whenever the token is inevitably released, before you start investing in it. But this sector in general, though, the margin trading sector is going to be huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Future, you know, it's essential financial tools, just like lending and like liquidity provision is in the DeFi space. You know,
right.
This is how like price discovery happens usually, like in the traditional finance world. Like it usually starts with with these platforms. You know.
Yeah. So
like we said last time, whenever Bitcoin is like $1 million plus and there's a lot less volatility, like these are the exchanges people will use to to capitalize on those swings.
So we want to talk about side chains, but before we do, let's just give everybody some perspective as to what's going on right now. So Bitcoin, last night I was watching it. It went all the way and touched $36,000, or almost touched 36,000.
Twice, looks like.
Yeah, and so it's starting another accumulation zone here a little bit. It's what it's looking at for. Let's look at the day, and yeah, that's my noise.
Dude, this is. Hold on, dude. Bitcoin has not stopped ever since.
Yeah, ever since COVID dropped.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
And this is where I was telling everybody, like my family, and it's like, dude, you guys need to start accumulating something at 9,000.
Do they listen to you?
No, sir. They're listening now, though, when it's like $35,000.
Oh yeah, of course. Now they want to buy, right?
Yeah, that's when everybody has money, when it's 35,000.
Exactly. So let that be a lesson to all of us, man. Like we should know better at this point. You know, people are starting to get greedy. So, I mean, these are usually around the times when you start like at least coordinating some type of, safe ejection button. I don't know what to call it, dude.
I mean, those who have gone in a little bit, like we've already talked about when to sell. And so they know that when I tell them to pull the trigger, they have to do it. Just because, you could try to sell your Bitcoin on Coinbase or whatever, and the site is not working. So you need to know like how to prevent that from happening, right? And I mean, there's a couple of ways, but I mean, just trying to be safe.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I'm just looking for a correction at some point in the short term, but this is no way like the top, of this cycle.
For sure.
Not even close. Like we're just now starting to see, like last night was the first signs that I've seen of like actual market like coming alive, where everything was running up at the same time, not just Bitcoin, not just Ethereum, or not just the altcoins, right? Everything was moving up in unison, which was like, wow. Like you could feel the energy of the market, and we're nearing that 1 trillion market cap, big psychological barrier,
Yeah, that's right.
Once we break through that, I mean that puts a lot of doubt, I think, in people's minds, or puts to rest all those doubts. Like I think that legitimizes this space as like a true asset class. I would think, like, not many things penetrate the trillions of dollars of valuation. Not
Yeah,
many markets.
that's true.
Like, I don't think the Beanie Babies ever got that popular.
Yeah.
So no longer can people make this like Beanie Baby comparison. Like that this is all just a bubble. It's gonna fizzle away into nothingness eventually. Like, you guys are all dumb.
Yeah, it's no longer that can never happen now.
Yeah, you can't say that anymore. There's too much institutional like adoption at this point. You didn't see big institutions like buying Beanie Babies and shit like that.
I mean, we look at just this 1 year where we had the COVID hit on March and then up until January, and it looks like a lot, but Bitcoin has been going ham since the beginning. Like, buying Bitcoin at any time is always a good time to buy Bitcoin.
Yeah. True.
Especially,
but it's always nice to try and find like a good deal. You know what I mean? Just like anything else. Like, you always want to buy things on sale.
For sure.
So like a nice little 30% correction would be like, from this point, like if you see Bitcoin at like 22,000 or something, maybe like in the next month or so, that to me is a juicy opportunity to buy.
Well, absolutely. No doubt about that.
No, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I think it's more likely to happen than to not. So.
Well, yeah, I don't think it's just going to be green candles until October.
Like 100K?
Yeah.
Like all 100K, just straight green?
Yeah.
That would be unimaginable. But then again, like that's we've seen things like this happen to like Tesla, dude. Like Tesla.
Yeah, but it's more parabolic. I mean, we would expect a parabolic run, and then that's when you start thinking about taking some profits. And yeah, we're experiencing a parabolic run right now, but this is nowhere near its projected price.
Yeah. And who knows, man? We might be experiencing like this hyper cycle that somebody on YouTube or on Twitter was claiming. Like,
yeah, a super cycle. Yeah.
It's like, just because there's a lot of macroeconomic like support for this type of movement, like we just saw literally the fall of the United States like beginning.
Yeah.
Where we keep seeing runaway like inflation is about to start pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about how the government is considering $2,000 a month now. Where did you hear that?
Now that the Democrats are in complete control, like now they're starting to throw out like,
oh, these ridiculous numbers,
these pending proposals. Yeah, if you don't know,
this
like,
is so frustrating.
They're usually, that's the party that likes to spend the most amount of money.
Yeah,
like they look at government as like a.
Well, think about it. It's a inflationary currency. It is the currency to spend. Like, you don't want to like hold the cash. I mean, in any sense, if you're the government, you want people to spend it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on. I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking in trying to not, give people money.
Well, all it's doing is devaluing the currency. If we have to keep printing more and more of it, there's actual economic consequences to that. You can't just give everyone money all the time. So yeah, they want to start giving $2,000 a month.
Well, I think that's only because of COVID. It's not going to be like forever.
No, it's definitely just because of COVID.
Yeah.
So
I mean, there's a cost to everything. All right, that might be the cost. Now, I think $2,000 is a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
But man, this is so frustrating because Andrew Yang has been talking about this for a long time, and he just got brushed aside. Like, I mean, this is Andrew Yang. This is what he thinks about, like, all the time. Like how we think about cryptocurrencies. This is what he's thinking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if this Bitcoin thing just. Who knows, man? It could. Looking at this chart, it's really not that far away from 100,000. Like, I could actually see it hitting that. Like,
yeah, it's right here.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you can see that like hitting like in June or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's possible. But
yeah, I think we're gonna hit like an accumulation zone where it's gonna hang out like around between, in the 40s, like just hang out there. And then at the last minute, just like parabolic all the way to 100 or 150. And then that's when, you know, that's going to happen towards the end of the year, and then that's when people start taking their profits, and then that's when you get your uncles and your cousins like, hey, you know, Bitcoin corrected at $80,000. Do you think it's a good time to buy? I was like, well, nope.
See, but that's the thing. That's the thing I have to get like mentally. I have to get past is that apprehension I'm gonna feel like by seeing more and more of like the people I know in my day-to-day life starting to adopt these things. Like,
But you know what?
Like, I just saw a chart of Ethereum Google search is at all-time high.
Yeah.
So to me, that's terrifying. That means like I should be preparing my exit, but maybe not. I keep saying this is like that's the point, isn't it? Like we want everyone to be using this network.
Yeah, but think about it. The Google searches is all-time high. It's like saying that Ethereum searches is like at this point at $700. It's like that doesn't mean everybody is searching for Ethereum right now. It just means that a lot more were searching now than there were before.
Yeah. So that all-time high figure that's today, a year from now, should be like peanuts, I would think.
Yeah.
And the price should reflect that, I guess. But
yeah, I think there was a YouTuber who predicted that Ethereum was going to go to $27,000 by the end of the year.
Who the fuck knows, dude? I don't think so because of the obvious impending issues with it, which should segue us into the next topic. Is like never before has like layer 2 felt more necessary than now. Like if you guys have been interacting with anything, you know, the whole NFT industry is at a total standstill, you know.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to buy anything because gas prices are just through the roof. Like we totally saw this coming, right?
Yeah, for sure.
This is going to happen. So to me, it's almost like we're like in red alert crisis mode now. Like the community, crypto community has to figure this shit out. And we can't wait around for years anymore. Like something has to be done today.
Yeah, because the use cases where Ethereum makes sense is when you're moving hundreds of thousands of dollars and you're paying gas fees like in the $40 or $50. That's not a big deal. The problem is the rest of the projects who are not moving $100,000 worth of crypto, they're suffering by paying $20 to $30 worth of gas. That's not sustainable. That kills businesses. A lot of businesses are in standstill right now because Ethereum is going crazy.
Yeah, and essentially, yeah, like NFTs, like I said, you know, a lot of the NFTs, especially gaming, you know, nobody's gonna want to pay more in gas for the actual game assets that they're trying to purchase, you know, like an Axie. Who the fuck wants to spend $50 for like a $30, $40 Axie? You know, nobody.
Yeah, we predicted this. We said every project is going to be using sidechain to sustain their business.
Yeah, we predicted it, but we weren't seeing much movement at the time we made that prediction, which was like 3 months back.
Yeah.
And I think it's because a lot of people were waiting for the rollout of ETH 2.0 and they weren't so certain what that was going to mean. Like the Ethereum community was promising this to be like, you know, at least some kind of help to the scaling issue. And it's been like a solid month now since the rollout and we haven't seen any help. And I think Vitalik said it's going to take a couple years for that help to actually take effect. So yeah, I think now like the actual devs are starting to kind of like commit to this layer 2 technology, you know, like we have no other choice.
Which is a safe bet. I mean, your assets are going to be on the side chain, but they're still your assets and they're still provable on the blockchain. And once ETH 2.0 like settles down, you can just move your assets to the main chain and pay the regular gas fees there if you want. I mean,
I mean, this is the same like solution that Polkadot is proposing, right? Like use their network as basically like this ginormous layer 2 network.
Yeah.
You know, and then bridging all that data to Ethereum at some point.
Right.
Like, it's the same thing. Like, so as a developer, you're not really losing out on much. As long as everything is still bridged to the Ethereum network somehow, to where the user can still secure that value at some point, whatever time they want to, you know, as long as the tools are there, like it should be fine. It's just going to be a period of like user, like a learning curve for the user, you know, just like how we all went through the learning curve, how to use MetaMask, you know, how to use all the existing like tools that we interact with daily. You know, how to use Uniswap. That wasn't.
Yeah, I still remember the time where I was like, what is gas? What's a
Yeah,
gas
me
fee?
too.
Like, why?
It's all intimidating at first, right? It's like, man, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do this. But at some point we did it and we got comfortable with it. And now it's like it's no big deal. It's just the nature of the ecosystem we're in.
Yeah.
So
You
yeah,
know,
layer 2 is going to have to go through those growing struggles, but it's going to be worth it. You know, people I think are demanding it now. You know,
man,
if
this reminds me that we need to look to peruse the Block One's GitHub account for Bitcoin and see if there's even discussions about integrating with a multi-chain project like Polkadot.
what do you mean?
Like
With
that
who?
with Bitcoin.
Oh, Bitcoin?
Yeah.
You said block 1.
Block One, right? Aren't they? They're the developers of Bitcoin, right?
No. Block 1 is EOS
Oh,
is
was it US? Shit.
yeah,
Oh.
block 1. Yeah.
Then who am I thinking about then?
I'm not sure.
Well,
I
there's
don't
a
know.
development team working on Bitcoin, so whoever that team
Yeah.
is.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think the Bitcoin community is as like because there's nothing being built on top of Bitcoin, right? They're not as like eager, I guess, to solve this scaling issue.
Well, it's not about scaling. It's more like interoperability. It's like
Oh, I see.
how do you use Bitcoin, right? If
Mm-hmm.
well, I guess Bitcoin is the use case for countries. Like I just send different countries. Speaking of, let me see if I can find this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh damn, man! I don't know if I'll be able to find it.
Yo, steak is down like big time. The fuck? Speaking of that, I guess we were wrong, dude.
It's down
Steak
big time. What price is it at?
11.5,
Dude,
dude.
it's not down big time. What are you talking about?
Dude, that's a big time drop, dude. Nah, not really. I was just the point is like I look at xDAI and steak just because of how um, in need we're in need of it. Like this thing has the amount of potential Chainlink had, I think. You know?
Well, I mean, it's because we're in the space and we need a layer two. So we're identifying, we're recognizing the amount of like value these sidechains have way
Mm-hmm.
before everyone else, right? The speculators aren't thinking about freaking solving gas fees, dude.
Yeah, I guess like at what point did you figure out oracles were going to be like absolutely necessary in order for DeFi to
The
exist?
devs figured it out early on.
Yeah, because they're the ones who needed that,
That's
right?
right.
In order
That's
to
right.
relay their information.
Exactly.
So now the devs are like, fuck, dude, nobody's buying our shit. Why?
Yeah.
Gas is too high. So it's like, now what do we do? Oh, we need to scale.
Yeah.
So how do we do that? Oh, I know. There's something called xDAI and Matic. Like we need to do that.
Yeah.
So at some point, like this reality has to hit, and like it has to permeate everyone's consciousness. Like crypto can't exist without layer 2. It's just
Yeah.
not gonna happen. You know.
Yeah.
So
100%. 100%. There was a tweet. God, what was it, man? That tweet where the Fed has given the green light to the banks to use Bitcoin and stable coins to clear transactions,
mm-hmm.
which is a huge deal. I mean, dude, the Fed has given the green light to banks to use cryptocurrencies to settle transactions.
Yeah, it is a big deal. It's actually unreal. It's so unreal that I don't really even know what that means.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, what's gonna happen now, dude? Like, I don't know.
Hold on, let me see if I can find it. So Fed stablecoin.
It kind of makes sense though. Like, well, now why things have been rallying so hard, right? Like, it's pretty major news.
Here it is. U.S. bank regulator green lights stablecoin used for federally chartered banks. Let's see. Okay, it says, all right, U.S. regulator. But they outlined some stable coins and they also mentioned Bitcoin here. Let me see if I can. Nope. I guess.
Okay.
No. Well, so that was I thought that was interesting because now that banks have that green light, you're gonna see a bunch of banks buying Bitcoin just to settle transactions, right? From, let's say, country to country.
Yeah. Or at least like now the window of opportunity is there. So whether or not they're just gonna jump on board, probably they won't do it that quickly, right? But we'll see.
Yeah.
But regardless, like that's good news on the regulatory.
Hey,
Hello.
you're back.
Yep. All right. Apologize. Internet crashed again. I
Okay.
don't know. I think that maybe these rioters raided the internet somehow.
Yeah. Right.
Cut the cord, dude. Fuck it all.
Yeah. So we were talking about how developers are recognizing that they need a sidechain solution. So we got xDAI and we have Matic.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. We've been personally bullish on xDAI for a while. I think because we interacted with actual dApps that integrated Matic, and it just felt so seamless to us, and
Yeah.
just felt perfect. And we haven't really interacted much with Matic. I think our best opportunity to have done that would be actually in Boss's Casino, but unfortunately we can't use that because we're U.S. citizens, right? We can't gamble. But from what I've heard, it's pretty seamless there too. You know, his casino. But the point is, they're both I guess separate technology tackling the same issue. So I don't really know what separates them much. What separates the two. But
yeah, I mean, xDAI.
Nonetheless.
Yeah, it says the xDAI chain is a stable payments blockchain designed for fast and inexpensive stable transactions. xDAI is used for transaction payments and fees, and stake is used to support proof of stake consensus. So what's cool is that you can take any ERC20 token and move it onto the xDAI sidechain, and you're essentially like moving X mana or X whatever ERC20 that you have.
Yeah.
And then the fees are negligible. I mean, there's one of the use cases for xDAI. They went to a conference. We've talked about this before. In that conference, I think I want to say $30,000 worth of xDAI were spent. So essentially DAI. And I think they've spent maybe 8 cents in fees collectively.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if that's not a good use case, I don't know what is.
No, it obviously works. It's just, again, the only problem is just the additional friction it's going to add to people's lives. That's it. Which is, it's like the opposite of what we wanted to do as a crypto space. Like we want minimal friction as possible, but we're just not there, unfortunately. People are going to have to get used to interacting with these conversion protocols to convert their ERC crypto into layer 2 crypto.
Yeah.
That's going to be something people are going to have to get comfortable with.
which then we have to bring up HoneySwap, because HoneySwap is Uniswap on a sidechain on xDAI, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
So
over the last few months, it's kind of fizzled out of, I guess, the discussion, mostly because gas prices were contained to a minimum during that time, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a mini bear market for altcoins while Bitcoin was running. You know what I mean? But now altcoins all of a sudden are back alive, and now gas is issue number 1 again. So now HoneySwap, the king has risen once again, basically. Come save us all.
Yeah. Yeah, HoneySwap is interesting. It's just the problem that it's suffering right now is lack of liquidity.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense to swap your tokens on HoneySwap just because the slippage fee is so high.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, so replacing one problem with another, basically.
That's right. And so there needs to be a consensus on tools to use, because that's how you make things sustainable.
Yeah, 3 months ago, we were talking about how Uniswap, their version 3 was supposed to be all about this. It's supposed to they basically came out with a statement that they're developing their layer 2 solution. So people were speculating, what does that mean? Are they going to integrate with Matic? Are they going to integrate with xDAI? I doubt it. More than likely, they're creating their own layer 2.
Yeah.
Which is perfectly fine.
You know what? I think there needs to be a consensus on like what layer 2 to use, because you can't like splinter your user base.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole point of Polkadot, is that Polkadot is supposed to solve a lot of this stuff too.
No, it 100% solves all this stuff. Yeah, it's not all fragmented, and if it is, it's still all relays to the the Polkadot chain.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, that's why we're so bullish on Polkadot. But at the same time, you can't neglect you can't just give up on Ethereum, right? Like, no one's gonna do that.
No, they're not.
Yeah, Ethereum isn't. I've been hearing talks of like, because of the whole Polkadot ecosystem emerging, like it's the end to Ethereum.
No, definitely not.
Ethereum's never going away. I'm convinced of that.
Yeah.
Ethereum has established its legacy as like the settlement layer, the value layer.
Yeah, I think it's equally as important as Bitcoin is. Ethereum. Exactly. Yeah.
It is. And it'll probably serve the same functional use case as Bitcoin. It's just like it's like the settlement layer,
Yeah.
Future dApps shouldn't expect to be built on Ethereum, and if they do, they're just not going to work.
Yeah, for sure.
So either you adopt layer 2 or you build on Polkadot or something else like Elrond or Cosmos or one of these other new up and coming, blockchains.
Yeah, I mean, Polkadot has the gravity just because of Gavin Wood.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it has the X factor there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's a lot of options for like a multi-chain one network solutions. Cosmos, Elrond. There's a few other ones other than Polkadot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I just found out recently. I mean, I always knew they existed, but once again, man, it's impossible to keep up with everything, right?
Yeah.
Like, dude, just focusing on the Polkadot ecosystem is going to be a lot of
work.
Yeah, but then you're ignoring all the other shit. Like I've this week, Terra Virtua, which I'm not sure we talked about in this podcast. I'm pretty sure we did. Terra Virtua, it's like a 3D NFT platform. They just announced their partnership with Elrond.
Yeah,
so that's Terra Virtua's like that's their solution to the impending gas issue that they know they're going to face as an NFT minting platform, right?
Yeah.
Most of their NFTs are like 10, 15, $20. Like they're trying to become like a collectibles platform. So they can't exist in today's climate, like literally.
Yeah.
Same with us. We have a lot of NFTs in that same price category. Like it's just not going to work.
Yeah, for sure.
So their solution is Elrond, so everyone else has to come up with like their own solution.
See, I wonder how, man, it's like the internet is as powerful as it is because we're all using the same protocols, TCP IP. We cannot do this as, cryptocurrencies can't have their own like side chains and their own networks. And like, you just can't do this. So? No, you can't. Because how are you gonna access the same player base? Like, the reason why Call of Duty is so big, or any of these other popular games, is because they're all using the same protocols. It's the same ones, and therefore you collect the entire mass population onto a single network, and then you have access. You can sell your game to the mass population. Right now, when you create a blockchain-based activity and you create your own network, you're segmenting that population, that access to that population.
Yeah, 100%.
So
that's a major issue for sure.
I don't know, man. This is the tough part, like from the developer standpoint, on selecting which technology to use, because you want to select the one that everybody's using. That's why Ethereum is so powerful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ethereum has a network effect. Like that's where all the value is currently.
Yeah. So
we've interviewed people like who are building on like Zilliqa or like on Wax and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Still completely competent and capable blockchains and ecosystems, but they don't have the value layer that Ethereum does, you know, so that they're not thriving as much as they should be, like if they were building on Ethereum.
Yeah, man. If I was a developer, I would be focused on only Ethereum solutions, Ethereum-based solutions, and then I would also be looking into Polkadot as a developer.
Yeah. 100%.
So let's summarize. We talked about the demise of the United States. We talked about the rise of Bitcoin, and the rise of sidechains, which many, like the speculator side of the community, they are not paying attention to, because xDAI is only worth like what, $30 million, $40 million?
40 million market cap. Yeah, again, it just, to me, it just doesn't make sense.
Given the size of the problem.
The problem is insanity. Nothing of substance will ever be built without like a solution to these problems. Like we can't just keep sweeping it. You know what I mean? For how long can we keep sweeping it? I don't fucking know, man.
Yeah.
Like instead we decide to put our money in like these like meme tokens and shit like that, instead of like actual fundamental, you know, infrastructure things.
Yeah.
At some point, like the market, I think, is gonna like become rational, hopefully, and like start propelling these things, and the developers themselves have to start adopting them. I think that's what. Yeah. I think it becomes obvious, kind of like it has to follow the same path Chainlink did. Like a lot of people didn't understand Chainlink off the rip.
Yep.
And they were intimidated by like that technical proposal of Chainlink. Like,
yeah,
what the fuck is an oracle?
Just
like,
the whole concept of an oracle, like that already is like, what are we talking about? The Matrix now?
You know? Exactly. I mean, to me, that sounds cool as fuck. Like, dude, oracle. I want to know what that means. But to most people, it's just too much technical jibber jabber.
Yeah.
And it's like you kind of like put that to the side to kind of like, oh man, I want to see what like this Chad token's all about.
Yeah.
You know, like this sushi bowl token, like way more interesting to me.
Yeah.
You know, but at the end of the day, at some point, just like the market eventually caught on to the fact that Chainlink is an integral, you know, component of the big machine we're trying to build here. You know?
Yeah, and the same goes for the graph. Right now, the graph is huge for developers, but it doesn't look like it because it
just only goes down.
Yeah, it only goes down, and so it's a huge opportunity.
It is, yeah. So I mean, these things, usually are the slowest to take off, I guess. But I mean, if the Rugpull example we showed earlier today is an example, isn't proof enough, like. You want your money invested in like these secure, you know.
Yeah, I think that's a good strategy. It's like find the solutions out there, and invest in those. I mean, this is again not financial advice, but is more of a framework as to how to look at this stuff. Is, man, you want to invest in solutions, especially solutions where there are competitors to the solutions.
Yeah,
because Link isn't the only oracle out there. But I mean, it's the most used one.
Yeah, there's a whole slew of oracles now because of Link.
Yeah.
So you're gonna see a whole slew of layer 2s like as soon as Matic or xDAI actually permeates. Like these things should be in the billions of dollars in the market cap wise. Like as far as like how much utility they have per serve.
Yeah, agreed.
It's insane. So. I don't know. Do with that information what you want. Not investment advice as usual. It's just this is what's important to us. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I mean we deal with it every day, so like we know what the problems are, and we feel the problems, and we get the complaints just like everybody else. It's like gas fees are too high, so we gotta search for solutions.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, I think that covers everything that we wanted to talk about today. We just had a meeting with Ethermon. They're about to launch some big things, some battle Ethermon, and so those who have bought a grass meta or who got the airdrop, you're gonna see a bunch of what they call slimes appearing on your land, and so you'll be able to battle the slimes for experience points and prizes and all that stuff. So stay tuned for that. And Corona Zombies just dropped their first weapon. What else? I think that might cover everything.
Yeah, it covers everything for now. Um, yeah, we'll definitely have more Corona Zombies news in the coming weeks for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ethermon, the game is definitely starting to take shape,
Yeah.
which is big,
Yeah.
you know. And then once the battling comes out, I think like that's what I predicted like several months back. Like what we're doing here as far as like metafying all this game content, like it won't make sense until like the battle system comes out. Like that's whenever it's all gonna. I think it's when it clicks for people. Like, oh shit,
Yeah.
you got these virtual pets that can battle now in the metaverse. So how do I get to that point? Well, there's lots of other game infrastructure that's been set in place ahead of that you have to interact with. You know,
That's right. That's right.
they're all connected, just like how how like the ETH ecosystem building, the meta ecosystem has to build too.
Yeah, for sure.
Time.
Yeah, and the way that the games have to roll out in the metaverse is you have to do it in pieces. Because I mean you'd have to get a significant investment.
That's just the nature of the environment, right?
Yeah.
That's what happens whenever you decentralize ownership of something.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, it's not this easy rollout thing where just like one entity decides everything, you know.
That's
like,
right.
If you want a truly decentralized ecosystem, this is the only way to do it. You have to fragment development and somehow keep it all interconnected at the end of the day, you know.
Yeah, so this has been an exciting couple of weeks, that's for sure. Bitcoin with the crazy run up, it's not going to stop. Nobody knows where Bitcoin's going to go. We're seeing predictions between 100 and 300,000. I would lean on the conservative side just to be safe. Keep an eye on like actual onboarding of new cryptocurrency people, just because that's going to be one indicator of when the top has arrived. And also be aware that these platforms can go down, right? We've all seen it. When when Apple drops a phone, their website goes down.
Mm-hmm.
And so what do you think is going to happen when Bitcoin reaches $100,000? Right? Websites are going to go down, Coinbase, Kraken, all that stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
So
gas is going to be absurdly high. Like it's not going to be a pleasant space.
Yeah.
Like your portfolios will look pleasant, but
yeah, you can't even like take advantage of your portfolio because everything's broken.
Yeah. So yeah, prepare for that because that's definitely coming. Also, be aware of like the FUD campaigns that are going to start coming out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like that's a natural thing in a bull market is people in power and positions of power with like large capital bases like start finding ways to get people to sell their crypto so they can buy them at cheaper prices, you know?
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
That's the way it goes. That's the way it happened in 2017. That's the way it's going to happen in this cycle.
That's right. Yeah, I mean,
it's going to look like it's going to feel like the end of the world. Like, oh my God, crypto's dead. Like shit like that.
Yeah.
But that's never the case. Don't believe it.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, just not even a few months ago, Jamie Dimon was crapping on Bitcoin. He was taking a dump on Bitcoin. Now JP Morgan is saying that Bitcoin's going to go to $146,000.
Yeah.
And take over gold.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
those motherfuckers, like they'll say anything.
Yeah.
You know?
Pretty much.
Don't believe it.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for listening. This has been episode 101, and there's going to be 100 more coming up.
Yep. You ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. So yeah,
for sure. Once this COVID shit's over, we need to. We're gonna ramp up production for sure of like internet content.
Yeah.
And we got to dedicate some time to building out the background of that studio.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if you know this, but I bought one of the magazine, the Bitcoin magazine. I bought the first edition.
Oh yeah, I saw that. So
that. That's gonna be a nice addition to our little background.
So is this a physical copy?
Yeah, it's the actual magazine.
Oh wow.
Still sealed. So apparently it's a big deal because I spent $500 for that thing. But I'm sure that's not what it cost when it got issued in 2012. I'm sure it was probably like $20 or something.
Yeah.
Point is these things are becoming more and more scarce as time goes on and more sought after as the price of Bitcoin keeps going higher and higher. So
yeah, for sure. That's awesome. All right, guys. Well, for now, let's call it here. This has been the Block Runner. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at the Block Runner and at MetaZone.io. And yeah, Thank you for watching, and we will see you next week.